Hello students, hope you are enjoying e-learning, and today we are going to learn very important topics, and that is active and passive immunity, and then we will learn about vaccination and immunization. So first of all we will start with the concept that is active and passive immunity. So let me differentiate in between active and passive immunity. So here you can see one definition is given, that is host. Suppose host is exposed to the antigen. You know very well what is antigen now. So if host is exposed to antigen, which may be, means antigen may be a living or dead microbes, maybe fungus, maybe bacteria, maybe any worm or anything, or other proteins, okay, living or a dead. So at that time, host body, as a result of that infection, in response to that infection, they will produce antibody within their body. Okay, so this type of immunity means the reaction or a response of a host body against this antigen is called active immunity, because antibodies will be produced inside their body. So such a mechanism is called active immunity response. Okay, active immunity is slow, because you can understand, first line will work first. When antigen enters in our body, at that time first line will activated, then second line will react, and then only third line will react. And these antibody production is the third line defense mechanism, and that's why that require time, and that's why active immunity is slow and take time to give its full effective response. It will take some time. Okay, so this type of active immunity is very slow. Okay, because it is first time exposure, and that's why it is very slow and takes time to give its full effective response. And these active immunity may be of two kinds. Here you can see in the diagram, they may be natural, means natural infection, means any bacteria, virus or fungus may infect in our body. At that time our body will react like a active immunity, like that. Okay, due to infection or due to entry of the such an antigen, our body will respond, and that response, due to this response, firstly, first line of defense will act, then second line, and then third line. Okay, and at the third line defense mechanism, as a result of third line defense mechanism, antibodies will be formed, and that is active immunity, because these antibody produced within their host cell. And sometime by using vaccination procedure, you can also inject artificially such a organisms, means harmful antigens in the body of a host, and as a result of that, that is artificial injection, that is called vaccination. Okay, so by using this artificial method also, you can activate the active immunity with inside the person. So now let me understand what is the immunization. Injecting the microbes artificially. Suppose here you see a vaccination. Okay, so here what you are doing? You are injecting the microbes, harmful antigens. Okay, artificially you are injecting, not naturally infected. Injecting the microbes artificially during immunization or infectious organism gaining access into the body during natural infection induce active immunity, means whatever the immunization process is based on artificial injection of the microbes. As an artificial injection, the primary response will be developed, and that's why it will become very easy to react as a secondary response during second time when same organism attack on that particular person. When ready-made antibodies, suppose sometime what happen, a person is not able to means they cannot able to form the antibodies within the body, and sometime doctors have to give artificial antibodies, okay, which is made or prepared outside the body. And then when ready-made antibodies, suppose doctors are giving ready-made antibodies and are directly given as an injection to protect the body against foreign antigen. As you know, as we discussed here, active immunity is very slow process. Sometimes what happens, symptoms are very severe. Okay, symptoms are very severe and maybe result into fatal disease. Okay, means person may die. So they cannot afford that they can wait up to the active immunity develop and all. Okay, so at that time, for the fastest response, they have to admit some artificial antibodies which are produced outside in the laboratory. And if ready-made antibodies are given directly to the person, then that type of antibody which is not formed or prepared inside their own body, and it is prepared outside the body in the laboratory, and such antibody when injected in the person is called passive immunity. Okay, these type of passive immunity are of two kinds, natural and artificial, same as the active immunity. In active immunity also there are two kinds, natural and artificial. Similarly here also passive immunity, which is the ready-made antibody injection, is also of two types. Okay, here what happened when means female is pregnant, at that time when fetus is developing inside their womb, at that time what happened, the placenta will pass, means by using placenta, antibody which is formed inside the mother will be passed to the fetus. Inside the fetus body there is no development of antibody. The development of antibody occur inside the female, which is mother body. Okay, and that's why antibody produced inside the mother body, but they will react inside the fetus, and by this way fetus will get ready-made antibody, and that's why this is considered as a natural type of immunity. Okay, so this is a natural type of when maternal antibodies are used by the fetus. And secondly, artificial antibodies can also be given to the person when severe cases are there, so they can survive. So let me understand more about passive immunity by using this diagram. Here you can see in diagram A, the antibody is there. These antibodies produced within the mother body. Okay, these antibodies will pass via placenta. Here you can see via placenta these antibodies will be passed, and that is mostly IgG, as we have discussed earlier that only IgG can pass from the placenta. So IgG antibody will be formed inside the mother body, and then that antibodies will be passed from the placenta, and the child or fetus will be receive it. Okay, so any kind of means requirement of antibody will be fulfilled by using this mechanism. Okay, so that's why child itself is not forming, or fetus itself is not forming the antibody. It will receive, means child will receive ready-made antibody, and that's why this is also considered as a passive immunity. In second diagram here you can see in B diagram, IgA antibody, that is from the mother milk. Okay, from the mother milk. Inside the mother milk there is a IgA, that is a immunoglobulin A, that is a dimeric. Okay, so these dimeric IgA will be obtained by the child after birth. Okay, when childbirth is there, after birth the child will receive antibodies by using mother milk. Okay, because mother milk is rich with the immunoglobulin A, especially when mother milk is yellowish, means yellowish fluid, and that mother milk is considered as a colostrum. Okay, this colostrum is highly rich with the immunoglobulin A. So the yellowish fluid colostrum secreted by the mother during the initial days of lactation has abundant antibodies, means too much antibody inside the colostrum, which is mother milk, IgA, and that is very important from the immunity of the infant. Okay, newborn children, and it will protect the infant. The fetus also receives some antibodies from the mother through the placenta during pregnancy. That may be mostly IgG. So during the pregnancy, fetus will receive IgG, and after pregnancy by using mother milk they will receive IgA. Okay, so be keep in mind this. These are some example, means these two are the example of a passive immunity. So now you can understand what is the passive immunity. So now let me summarize and differentiate in between active immunity and passive immunity. So here you can see, first of all, active immunity. Exposure to antigen. First of all, exposure to antigen, immunity achieved by injecting antigen or through infection. So here in this case, only exposure to antigen immunity will be achieved. Okay, but here in passive immunity, there is a no requirement of antigen exposure. Okay, so here antigen exposure is not must. Immunity will be achieved by injecting antibodies or antigen reactive T cells. So directly ready-made antibodies will be given to the person, and that is called passive immunity. Second thing, active immunity is a specific response made by individual in achieving immunity, means it is individual achievement. Okay, but here passive immunity is what? Specific immune response made by the donor antibodies or a T cell. Here is a specificity. Okay, and third thing, immune system activated by antigen and immune memory in effect. Okay, so this is based on memory. Here, no immune system activated and no immune memory, because its own immune system is not activated here because all the antibodies are landed. Okay, immune response can be maintained by stimulation of a memory cell. You can also maintain the immune response by stimulating the memory cell, but here immunity cannot be maintained because antibody production is not done inside the human body. That's why it is not maintained and decays rapidly. So it is not long term. Okay, sometime that effect will be less. Then immune state develop over a period of weeks. Okay, here some time will require because this is slow process. The some time will require. Okay, but here it is a rapid method. Okay, here directly when person get or injected with the antibodies, directly they will react. Immune develop immediately. Okay, so these both are the differences between the active immunity and passive immunity, and this may be asked in your board's exam in 2 to 3 months. So now let me start with the another topic, and that is vaccination and immunization. So first of all, let me understand what is the principle behind the vaccination. So here, the principle of immunization or vaccination is based on the property of a memory of the immune system. As you know, when third line of defense mechanism activated, at that time a B cell will divide into two. Firstly, one plasma cell is formed, and secondly, a memory cell will form. So these is all based on the memory cell. Okay, so in vaccination, a preparation of antigenic proteins. Okay, what is a vaccination? A vaccination is a preparation of antigenic proteins of a pathogens. Okay, pathogen itself means those proteins are taken from the antigen itself. Okay, there is one special kind of preparation in which antigen itself will be used. So what is the taken from the antigen? Maybe proteins will be taken, maybe this antigen itself will be inactivated or maybe weakened out. Okay, so in vaccination, in a preparation of a vaccination, what is done? Antigen itself will be taken, then a part of a vaccine means a part of the antigen will be taken, or maybe full antigen will be taken as an inactivated or weakened stage. Okay, this is considered as a vaccine and are introduced into the body in a small amount. Here you can see it will be injected or maybe orally given as a drops. Okay, by two ways that can be entered, by using drops also, means oral injection also, and this injection also, to the skin injection also. So by this way, oral and injectable, two type of vaccines are there. Okay, the antibodies produced in the body against this antigen would neutralize the pathogenic agent during actual infection. So what happened here? We are taking antigen itself is a inactivated or weakened state, and we are inserting or we can say injecting such a inactivated or we can say weakened pathogen inside our body and in a small amount. That's why what happened, our first line, second line and third line, it will reach up to the third line mechanism, and at that time our memory cell will memorize. Okay, and that will be considered as a first response. So now first response is completed. Okay, artificially it is completed, and when really such an organism will attack on our body, that will be considered as second response, and that is very rapid and very fast. Okay, so this is the main principle behind the vaccination process. The vaccines also generate memory B and T cells that recognize the pathogen quickly. Okay, because only first time when pathogen enter, at that time body is unknown. But here it will consider a second time. When real pathogen enter, at that time it will be considered as a second time. And that's why this response will be very quick. Okay, so vaccination will work on this base. Okay, so quickly on subsequent exposure and overwhelm the invaders. Okay, whatever pathogens are entered with a massive production of antibodies. So at a time they will produce massive antibodies, and as a result of that, means that pathogen will be killed out easily. Okay, so by this way, vaccination and immunization is occur. Now let me understand more with the some example. Here you can see, if a person is infected with some deadly microbes, suppose deadly microbes means that person may be die as a result of such infection, and which quick immune response is required. And suppose at that time quick immune response is required, otherwise person may die. And such an example is a tetanus. We need to directly inject a perform antibody, means ready-made antibody we have to inject it. Okay, antibodies or antitoxin, sometime antitoxin. This tetanus will produce neurotoxin, and at that time antitoxin is required. Okay, preparation of containing antibodies to the toxin. And in this case you can see here person may bend, and sometime in the within a 48 hours person may die. And that's why for the quick response here ready-made antibodies must be enter in the body. Okay, means it must be enter inside the person which have the infection. Second example, even in case of snake bite, sometimes snake is bite. Okay, and it is very quick response, and the injection which is given to the patient contain perform antibodies. So as a means for the treatment of such a snake bite, person should be given with the injection which is ready-made antibody. Otherwise person may die within 4 to 5 hours or 6 or 8 hours, depend on the type of snakes. Okay, so at that time also when snake bite is there, at that time also person require ready-made antibody, otherwise person may die. That's why they cannot afford active immunity. Otherwise they will wait for the active immunization, means they can wait for the first line, second line and third line, up to that they may die. So they cannot afford that time. Okay, so ready-made antibodies required at that time, and such a immunization is called passive immunization. Now let me understand how vaccines are prepared by using, especially by using recombinant DNA technology, which you will learn in further chapters. Recombinant DNA technology is the technology in which you can recombine the DNA. So here what is taken? DNA will be taken from the virus, especially if you want to prepare hepatitis B vaccine. At that time hepatitis B virus is taken, and out of that the DNA will be taken out of that, and then a plasmid from the bacteria will be taken out of that. Okay, and then both of the DNA will be recombined by using some enzymes, and this recombined DNA will be inserted inside the yeast cell, and when this yeast cell will reproduce, at that time multiplication will occur, and as a result of that vaccine will be prepared, and it will be packed in a bottle, and these will be utilized for the vaccination purpose. Now vaccine produced using this approach allow large scale production. Okay, and that's why they can fulfill the demand, and hence greater availability of the immunization. And the one example is for such a production is hepatitis B vaccine will be produced from the yeast cell. So by this way, recombinant DNA technology is very useful for the vaccination purpose. Here in this slide, you can see types of vaccines are given. Vaccines can be used as a live attenuated vaccine in case of tuberculosis, oral polio vaccine, that is called OPV, then measles, rotavirus and yellow fever. You must be know the examples. Which are type of live attenuated vaccines are there? Which are the inactivated type of vaccines are there? Which may be asked in the NEET examination. So inactivated means pathogen or antigen may be killed or inactivated, like in case of wall cell pertussis, in case of pertussis, then inactivated polioviruses, that is called IPV. So poliovirus can be used two types, that is oral polio vaccine, that is OPV, and inactivated polio vaccine, that is IPV. Then subunit means purified antigen. This is the part of the antigen. Okay, like pertussis, that is acellular, then a Haemophilus influenza type B, then pneumococcal type of a diseases, then hepatitis B like diseases. Okay, so at that time subunit of antigen will be utilized. Then toxoid, that is inactivated toxins. This is not an antigen itself. The production of an antigen is there. Like bacteria sometimes produce some toxins. That toxins will be taken out. Okay, not antigen is totally taken out. So passively antigen is used here, not actively. Toxoid are used during tetanus toxoid, that is a TT vaccine, then diphtheria toxoid in case of a diphtheria disease. Okay, then sometimes RNA based vaccines are also used, like in the case of a dendritic cell non-replicating type of means non-replicating type of organism, means in vivo self-replicating or in vivo dendritic cell non-replicating type of vaccination. So these all are types of vaccination now utilized. This kind means RNA based vaccination is next generation vaccines. Okay, nowadays it is not working now. Okay, but these all are functioning, means all type of vaccines are utilized by the doctors, but this is on the way. Okay, this way it is written next generation vaccines. In our India, one vaccine schedule must be followed by the doctors. Let me understand that is given by the National Immunization Schedule for the infant, children and pregnant women. Here you can see this is the vaccine, list of the vaccine which must be given to the pregnant woman during pregnancy. That is a TT1, that is a tetanus for the tetanus disease, TT1, TT2, TT booster. TT1 is given during early pregnancy, then TT2 is given after TT1 is given 4 weeks after TT1 given. Then TT booster, if it is given only if received 2 TT doses in pregnancy within 3 last years. So this schedule must be compulsory followed by the doctor. For the infants, BCG is given. BCG is for the tuberculosis infection and it will be given up to the 1 year of age of a newborn. Then hepatitis B vaccine, then OPV, that is oral polio vaccine for the polio, then OPV 1, 2, 3, that should be given up to the 5 years, then pentavalent, that is for the 1 year, then rotaviruses, IPV, measles, JE, vitamin A, all these listed schedule must be followed by the doctor. Okay, and this schedule is for the infant, means 0 to 12 months. Okay, this must be followed up to the 0 to 12 months. So now let me see what for the children, that is above 12 months. So here you can see DPT, that is the diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus. Okay, diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus, that is called DPT. Okay, triple booster, that is also called. It is given up to 16 to 24 months. Then measles 16 to 24 months, OPV booster, then JE2, vitamin A, and then DPT booster 2, that is DPT booster 1 is given here and DPT booster 2 is given at the 5 to 6 years. Then TT, that is the tetanus, 10 years and 16 years. So this is all must be followed. This schedule must be followed by any doctor for better health of the children. Now let me go through homework. This is your homework for today's lecture. Write differences between active and passive immunity. Then you have to write 2 examples of passive immunity and you have to solve MCQ number 31 to 50 from your worksheet. In next lecture, we will learn allergies and autoimmunity. So till that, goodbye.